Hey team, so today's topic is how long does it take to train for a 10 miler? Okay, it all really comes down to the maturity level of the athlete and how much time that athlete actually has to prepare for their race. Okay, there's a lot of athletes that may only have 8 weeks to prepare for a 10-mile race that's coming up. Maybe they really have their heart set on a 10-mile time, maybe the Cherry Blossom 10 miler or the Army 10 miler, and then they only have those 8 specific weeks to train and prepare for their race. Uh, my recommendation is always to really do your best to think long term and to find your races that are at a minimum 4 months out to around 6 months out. Okay, the optimal time frame to prepare properly for a 10-mile race, in my opinion, is anywhere from 12 weeks as a minimum out to around 20 weeks. Okay, if you're training for, say, like a half marathon or a marathon, I think really a minimum of 20 weeks out to around 24 weeks. So 5 to 6 months in length. Again, because you're allowing your body time to adapt to the hard training that you're doing. You're not trying to rush your preparation, and that is a big mistake a lot of us as middle to long distance runners make. We have a great deal of motivation and drive and focus to get out and put in our workouts, but a lot of times we try to cram all of our training in a short segment of time, and our body just simply hasn't adapted to those intensities that we're trying to throw at it. And again, it's one thing to run a 10-mile race and to be able to sustain goal race pace for, say, 4 or 5 miles. It's another thing, it's an art form to be able to sustain that pace or that dream goal time that you have for 10 miles, okay, or 16 kilometers. So I think it's really important to think long term, continue to prepare and train at, near, or far below your goal 10-mile race pace. Um, how long does it take? I mean, really, for many athletes, I mean, it took me basically running from 1992 to 2007 when I ran my personal best for 10 miles, which is 50 minutes and 54 seconds. It took me that much time to run a sub 51-minute 10-mile time. Okay, so a lot of us, we see the the end goal, we see the fast times these runners are running, and then we wonder, what we don't see is we don't see the preparation that went into that hard training. Okay, I have a video I'll link here, either up here or down here in the video, that I talked about, a video called Process versus Event. Okay, we always see the event. We don't see the process, the hard work that went into those fast times, that the runners that you see running fast times, you don't see that hard work they put in. But in terms of how long does it take to train for a 10-mile race, I think for most athletes, you can still get in legitimate shape in a matter of 8 to 12 weeks. Okay, but again, if you really want to do it right, give yourself, say, 16 to 20 weeks, 4 to 5 months to really prepare and to get yourself acquainted to that goal race pace that you're going for. Okay, if your goal is maybe to break an hour for 10 miles, you have to make sure that you get 6 minute mile pace to feel more like marathon race pace rather than 10-mile race pace. And so that's going to take time. It's going to take a longer build up. You have to build that 4 to 8 weeks of easy aerobic base mileage first, running doing 5 to 6 100-meter strides twice per week. And obviously, if you're an older athlete, you really have to pay attention even more to your recovery. Okay, you might need up to 3 days of recovery between each hard track workout you're doing or road intervals you're doing. Okay, if you're younger, you might only need 1 to 2 days of recovery. But again, the real benefits of your hard training preparing for these 10-mile races are going to happen in the rest period. Okay, so make sure you're getting plenty of sleep, hydrating well. You're not running long, slow, and easy long runs every single weekend. Again, one of the biggest strategies that impacted my own running was doing alternated efforts for long runs. I would run one weekend, I would do a very hard long run where I'd run segments of my, say, like even training for 10-mile races, anywhere from 16 miles out to around 20 miles in length. So I was almost doubling the distance that I was preparing to race at, so 10 miles, but I was doing almost twice the distance in training. And so one weekend might be every fourth mile I would drop a sub 5 minute mile in that 20 miler. And then I would run a few miles at 5:40, 5:30 pace, and then run a few miles at 7:30, 7:45 mile pace. Again, really easy efforts, really hard efforts, and then closer to goal marathon race pace efforts. Okay, so, and then the following week, I would always run easy and relaxed. Okay, so you can't just keep stressing the body hard every single weekend and expect high returns on your investment. So there is a point of diminished returns if you continue to train hard anaerobically. Okay, you have to push the body hard and then allow time for it to recover so that you get the highest returns on your investment and you get the highest chance of success when it comes time for you to race in your 10-mile race. Proper pacing is key. Okay, in the 10-mile race, definitely do not try to make a move. Do not try to start really racing until you hit the 5 mile point. Okay, the first 8 kilometers, around 8 kilometers, 4.975 miles, once you get to that point, then you really focus on running that second half of your 10-mile race and negative split. Run the second half of your race faster than you run the first half. And I do have training plans for 10-mile athletes that are trying to train for the 10-mile distance for specific times they're going for. I also have running courses for athletes that are training to run either the half marathon or marathon distances, if that's something you're interested in, on RunDreamAchieve.com. And obviously I work with athletes month to month as well with personal coaching. I also do consulting. So if you just want to jump on a call with me, we can do that, 60-minute call. You can ask me any questions that you want, and the links to those are below this video or above on RunDreamAchieve.com in the navigation menu. So if there's any other questions, if you have a comment, feel free to leave it below. I will definitely respond back to you. And definitely check out the resources that are below all my videos. They're there to hopefully help you surpass your fitness goals and to help increase your chances of success in your training and preparation. Definitely the 10-mile race definitely involves an athlete highly focused on running their specific goal time. So you have to be very strong mentally, you have to be very strong aerobically as well as anaerobically. So it's very important that you're not spending too much time during your weekly training running too easy. Okay, Sebastian Coe, the former world record holder for the mile and the 800 meter and the 1500 meter, said it best. He said, I've always believed that long, slow distance running produces long, slow distance runners. And if you look at his past races on YouTube, Sebastian Coe, he's from Great Britain, phenomenal athlete, but his preparation was so drilled down. He was always going after fast times. And your goal might not be to run a fast 10-mile time. Maybe it's just to start and finish a 10-mile race. Maybe you're trying to lose weight and you're trying to get to a point where you can run 10 miles without stopping. Okay, so definitely check out the videos here on the channel, as well as the training plans on RunDreamAchieve.com. I have a various time frames. So if you're trying to break, say, 90 minutes, or you're trying to break 60 minutes, or even like 55 minutes, there's a little bit of something for athletes out there. Even some athletes that are trying to break 50 minutes for 10 miles. There's a plan there as well for you. So wish you all the best in your training, and definitely leave me a comment below. Like this video, share it. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so when I make a new video, you'll be notified of it. And I look forward to hearing about your successes this year in the 10-mile race, and how these strategies helped you get to a point where you could set that goal race pace that you've been dreaming about, and you were able to sustain it the entire race. That's the key. So I wish you all the best, and I'll talk to you in the next video.